Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Goal. I'm your host, Stephen Schreiber. We have a great episode for you covering boys and girls soccer from around the great state of Pennsylvania. Stay tuned for another great episode. Welcome into another episode of In the Goal. We've got a great episode for you covering multiple districts around the state of Pennsylvania. Joined as always, Jack Kapp. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great.
Ryan, we missed you last week. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Well, we might as well get started. And Kapp, you were trying to explain this to me earlier, and you said I needed a degree in statistics to understand it. But you think you can break it down for us. Can you tell us about the standings and PowerPoints out in District 3?
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. That's all we ask. That's all we ask from you.
I think you need an MBA in statistics.
Oh, not just a bachelor's degree,
an MBA.
Oh.
Yeah, a very advanced degree. So each district does it a little differently. And I studied District 3 a little bit. So District 3 incorporates several different things, wins and losses, of course, and ties, but they also have something they call team-weighted winning percentage. And it has to do with strength of schedule. So who is it that you're playing, what level they're at, the classification, and so on. And then that's multiplied by a certain percentage, 55%. That's added to your opponent's weighted winning percentage, which is multiplied by 45%, and then that's added to your wins, your ties, your losses, and everything's calculated on a statistical basis. It's quite complex.
Right.
Nobody understands it.
Yep.
And it's very hard to explain.
Yeah, and everyone's been arguing about it for years.
They've been arguing about it for years. I read the history of it, and it's quite interesting. It was created by Ronnie Christ, a reporter from the Harrisburg Patriot News. So he must have had some kind of statistical background to be able to do this. Mm-hmm. But that's how they do it out in District 3. And then they do all that calculation, and they end up with a rating.
Right.
So the highest rating out there right now is .788136, and it belongs to Lower Dauphin.
Right.
Okay, but it's very close. So you're looking at 788136, and you might have 788075 right behind it. So it's down to 6 digits. Yeah. It's complicated. But it's been argued over for years, and this is the conclusion that they've come up with. Now, when we go to District 12, which you're in, it's a little bit different, and maybe you can touch on that a little bit.
Again, we follow a 3-point system for a win and 1 for a tie, and our leader goes from top points, will represent the Catholic League, to go against the public league, depending on which class we're in for the city title or the District 12 title. We pretty much cut and dry as far as the highest points in each division, and the winner of the Catholic League title, when we have one champion, goes on to advance from there.
So let's say, for instance, Roman wins.
They would represent the 4A.
They would represent 4A. They'd have to play the winner of the public league.
They have the 4A there.
Because they're both District 12.
Yes. And the winner would move on the states.
And it's only one coming out of the city of Philadelphia, which is District 12.
Where the other District 1 gets 5.
District 1 gets 5, that's correct, yeah.
That off, they get the most, I believe.
I mean,
That's
you see 3 points like around professional sports pretty much being the universal. You get 3 points for a win, 1 for a tie. I feel like looking like the MLS, I think they do it a similar way. But we're going to stick with the Catholic League that was just mentioned, and we're going to move into the standings. And we've got some interesting matchups coming up, but we also had some big games that happened earlier this week. But just going through the standings, LaSalle is still sitting at the top, 9-0-1, 28 points, followed very closely by Roman, 9-1. Archbishop Wood right behind them at 8-2, followed by our own Archbishop Ryan at 5-3-2, and St. Joe's Prep 4-3-3 right behind you guys. I'm looking at the schedule or the standings, and without the 2 ties, you'd be right up there with Wood, right at the top. But it seems like Wood, Roman, and LaSalle have really separated themselves in the conference.
I mean, yeah, those three have been the leaders, LaSalle being one, and then Roman just beat Wood the other night in overtime 2-1 to separate them a little bit. But yeah, they are the three that kind of separate, and then it kind of gets a little jumbled up. And we have a big game tomorrow against Wood.
Yeah.
And it looks like, I'm not sure who Judge is playing tomorrow, but Prep's playing Egan on Saturday.
Lansdale Catholic.
So, I mean,
Judge LC, yeah.
So, Roman can make that jump over LaSalle if LaSalle ties. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential movement within the top three, or a little movement within the top three.
Yes.
But then there's also some. I mean, so you're sitting at 4, and you're 2 points ahead of Prep. You have 15 points. They have 13 points. Does it make a difference? If they surpass you, become the 4th seed or near the 5th seed, or is it just a?
Looking at it would be a difference in home or away game, because it looks like Carroll couldn't catch us. If we are to lose, Prep would go ahead of us with a win, and we would be going to Prep next Friday night.
Right.
Any win or tie from us tomorrow, we would get 4th. We can't go no higher than 4th.
So this is the biggest game of the year, obviously.
Let's see if we want a home playoff game.
Yeah.
So if you guys win, you'll be hosting Prep next week.
Yes.
If Prep wins and you guys lose.
If Prep wins, we lose, we're going to Prep next
Okay.
Friday. Now, if Prep loses and we win, as you can see, then it gets a little crazy, because Judge can go ahead of them with a win. Carroll can tie them,
Right.
which then would come down to points tiebreaker. So
There's
it's going to get interesting tomorrow and Saturday. So Prep, the Egan game is not till Saturday. The rest of us play tomorrow.
What time is your game?
We are at tomorrow at 3:45.
So it's an afternoon game. Okay.
At Monroe Park.
Should be a good contest. A really big one. I mean, Wood has looked. 8-2, strong season so far.
And they ended our season last year in the quarterfinals.
Oh, so you want to get some? You want to get this win? You're not going to say it, but you really want to get this win. Well, we're going to move on to Suburban 1. On the boys, staying on the boys' side, Council Rock North leading the national division, 8-1-1, 25 points. Dominating lead over the rest of the division. Abington and Pennsbury are tied with 18 points as far as our records show. Council Rock South right behind them, 16 points difference, was a tie instead of a win. And Ben Salem right behind them at 12. So there's not a whole lot of drama there. I mean, there could be potential drama at the end with 3 teams clumped, but at the top, Council Rock North has really secured the top spot.
Yeah, Council Rock North seems to be the best team in that entire Suburban 1, especially in the national division, no question about that. They had a big game against their counterparts, CRS, Council Rock South, the Golden Hawks, not that long ago, I guess about 5 or 6 days ago. And final ended up 1-1.
Yeah. So if Council Rock South had been able to take that game, they'd be tied with Abington and Pennsbury for second.
Yes.
Instead, I think it's a great achievement to get the tie up against a team that's 8-1 and had only lost 1 game going into that point. There's some solid play all the way around. The Continental Division's a little different, though. There's no secure team up at the top. 3 teams tied with 21 points. CB East, Central Bucks East, Central Bucks West, and North Penn all have 7 wins, 21 points. And then there's a bit of a drop-off. But, strong play at the top. Great competition there.
Yeah, CB East and CB West, traditional rivals, of course, both at 7-3-0 at the top, tied. So I guess if they went to the end of the season tied, they'd go to the first tiebreaker, which is head-to-head, I would assume. I think it is.
Head-to-head, goals against.
And
your record against the teams that you play in there. It looks like, and then you look at this, North Penn still has a game to play with 7 wins, which could be the difference maker.
Yeah, if they could get that 8 wins, they put them ahead. I'm not sure if they missed it, if there was a rain out or.
It looks like there's real quick. There's 4 teams with 9. The rest of them have played 10. So.
So
could be a difference maker.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the American, the Hatboro Horsham sitting at the top with Upper Dublin, 8-2-1, 25 points, followed very closely by Plymouth Whitemarsh with 24, and Wissahickon. can't get that one down, but they're
I only know it because I used to go on the Wissahickon Trail.
Yeah.
So
they're right behind all of that at 7-2-2. So a lot of drama. I mean, the national, no drama at the top. This Continental and American could go any way in this last week of the season.
Those 4 teams have been fighting all year amongst themselves, and big games coming up for those teams. So actually, right now, we've got Hatboro Horsham playing PW. I believe it's happening even as we speak. And then, let's see here, next week, Upper Dublin at Hatboro Horsham. That's on 10/16. That's 4 days from now. And then Upper Dublin versus North Penn, somewhere in there, I think, 10/19. So it looks like October 19th.
So a lot will happen.
So we don't know where that's going to all end up, and but some big games coming up.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you have 4 teams within 2 points of each other, there's a whole lot of drama to be had.
3 games left.
Yeah, 3 games left. Should be some good contests. We're going to move on to the Central League here, and as expected, Conestoga is leading the way, but they are tied with Lower Merion. Both 9-0 in conference. Radnor right behind them, 8-1. Strathaven, a little separation, but they're sitting there at 6-3. Conestoga, I mean, we've been talking about them all year based on their rankings in the Fab 50, and they're just leading Pennsylvania right now, doing a great job.
Yeah, they're a very, very, very powerful team. 76 goals for, 15 goals against.
Yeah. What about? I mean, what do you know about Lower Merion? Because they're
haven't seen them.
They're right behind. I mean, they haven't scored quite as many goals. They only, according to this, only have 40 goals for, but they don't let up anything. I mean, they've let up 6 goals all season. I mean, when you have a ratio of 40-6, that's just tremendous.
But it is. I think that's the game, and I circled it on my calendar, which is October 17th. I think that's the game everybody's been looking forward to.
Oh, I mean, Conestoga, number 3 in the nation. I'm not sure how you can't look forward to that game. Just tremendous right there.
That's the 12th. Yeah, we have Radnor versus Lower Merion.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. It
may have been this afternoon. It might be tonight. We're not sure, but they're playing today. Conestoga has a non-league game on the 14th, which is 2 days from now, Saturday.
Yep.
And that will be against Cumberland Valley out of District 3, which is a very strong team. So they challenged them. I mean, put them on their schedule, and that's a big strong program out there, Cumberland Valley. And then, of course, we just mentioned October 17th, Lower Merion versus Conestoga.
Yeah.
I'll try to go to it.
Yeah, should be.
Well, we're going to learn more about Lower Merion tonight once we find out how they did against Radnor.
Yeah. That's
right.
Radnor's not far behind at 8-1. I'm assuming Radnor's losses to Conestoga.
That's right. Radnor's the next best team. Yeah.
Should be. I mean, if we find out, we'll update our viewers.
Yeah, and then Conestoga plays CB South.
Yeah.
Another out-of-league game on the 19th. So I guess that's next Thursday. And they'll be playing that as we go to our 7th episode.
You're starting to see these teams tune up for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ending seasons.
Taking on strong opponents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting ready. And again, these are power points. These are
power points,
for district seedings and where they fall into their playoffs. Because where these guys fall in their standings, they don't have a clear-cut champion. They may have a champion of their league here, but they don't play at playoffs. They go to their district playoffs based on their size and strength.
That's right.
Which is a little bit different because we don't go to a district playoff. We go right to a district final.
Right.
Which is a little bit different. So,
Just like Philadelphia, we've always made our own rules, and we're making our own rules. When we came into the PIAA, we kind of, I guess we negotiated that.
Yes.
And we were able to do it our own way.
And there's a reason why District 1 has 5 teams representing District 1 in the state tournament. There's so many. Look at all this competition they're playing.
It's the best soccer in the state. Yeah, basically. And it's a vast region.
I'm just looking. There's 20-something teams here that would all be 1-goal games with the top 7 or 8 teams in the Catholic League. It's impressive. I mean, to play those teams. And when you get a chance to play them, like Saturday night, we're bringing Council Rock North to Ryan.
That's right.
See a great quality.
That's a great out-of-league game for you.
Give them to play. So again, it's curious to see how things fall the next week, next 7 to 10 days. We're going to really know where.
This is where it gets really exciting.
We're going to quickly move over to District 3 and to the Mid-Penn Conference.
Okay.
And you wanted to talk about these guys, Kapp, because, I mean, you got Central Dauphin East.
Yeah, Lower East, right.
You got Lower Dauphin, who, started off so hot, came into the season with great expectations, had a slow start, and really bounced back, 14-2-1. Hershey has had a good season, and this is in the Keystone Division.
That's right.
State College, strong team out in the Commonwealth Division.
It's actually District 6, interestingly enough. We mentioned that before, but...
Camp Hill, 15-0 in the Capital Division, and Greencastle Antrim, 14-2. Just naming the leaders from all these different, conferences or divisions. I mean, some strong soccer out there in District 3.
Right. So if you look at the power rankings, I mean, if you look at Quad A, which is the highest level, Central York is on top.
Yep.
Followed by Elizabethtown, Hempfield, Ephrata, I don't know how to say that, and CD East. I mean, these are 5 really big-time programs. And I'm looking at the power rankings there. They're very, very close, within, thousandths of a point, if I may say. And then you move to AAA, and Lower Dauphin is right up on top there. They actually have the highest power ranking of everyone coming out of District 3, followed by Susquehannock. And you mentioned Greencastle Antrim. I always love that name. Hershey, Lampeter, Strasburg, another great name of a high school. Lower Dauphin has revenged their 2 losses to Hershey and CD East, and have really come on very, very solid in the second half of the season. So, Lower Dauphin clearly a state champion and someone that has to be looked at down the road. In AA, we have Lancaster Mennonite on top, Ole Valley, Wyomissing, followed by Tupple-Hocken and Biglerville, and then my favorite team, Middletown, which is the team, again, my brother used to coach. They are 11-4-1, so 11-4-1, and they're in 6th place in the power rankings of AA. So Middletown has had a very good season. And then Camp Hill is undefeated, and they're in the Single A, defending state champs.
Strong team, really.
District 3 is right after District 1, and a number of great teams, and we see that right there.
Right. Well, we're going to move on to the overall rankings for the state. Conestoga is still leading the way, followed by Peters Township, Erie Cathedral Prep, Parkland, Holy Ghost Prep, LaSalle, Episcopal, Lower Dauphin, Northwestern Lehigh, and then Lower Marion has made its way into the top 10 for the state. This is the PSCA coaches poll, and there's a little bit of movement within here. Parkland has moved up. They're sitting in 4th. They were in 6th. Holy Ghost Prep has moved up to 8th. LaSalle has taken a step back. Episcopal has taken a step back. Lower Dauphin, Northwestern Lehigh have moved up, and so has Lower Marion has come onto the poll. Is there any surprises within the top 10?
Well, obviously Conestoga on top is not a surprise.
No.
Some of them have stayed in the same position. Episcopal, which is an independent school, obviously the Interact cannot play in the PIAA. They moved from 4th to 7th, so they dropped a little bit. LaSalle dropped 1 space to number 6, but Lower Marion came in at number 10. And these are the big schools again. Holy Ghost Prep moved up to number 5. And we're going to see some of these things reflected in the national rankings also. So when we talk about that in just a moment, we'll see.
The team that intrigues me on this is Hatboro-Horsham. I see them, they're getting votes. We just read about them in their conference. They're doing well, they're having a great season. Want to see how they do in the next 7 days to see if they can stay up and move into that ranking, because they got some big games coming up. See if they can keep it going. We're right around Hatboro-Horsham. Where we're at now.
We're on their home turf right now, so we should say good things about Hatboro.
Broadcasting from Hatboro.
So they stick out to me on this rankings. And again, Ghost is moving up. LaSalle had a tough game against Lansdale. They tied an off day. I mean, Lansdale had a great game from what I hear, and LaSalle, maybe took them too lightly. But I wouldn't count LaSalle out.
I mean, Lansdale tied you guys too, so I mean, they're really playing up to their competition. So,
I mean, there's an ebb and flow to each season, and sometimes due to injuries or players missing for some reason, and you might have a little drop in the middle of the season, but then At the end of the season, things come together. You never know what's going to happen. I know some of the teams have some serious injuries and players missing and so on. And that always affects everything.
Yeah, the one thing we talk about these power points and 3 points for a win, 1 for a tie. The better teams are going to be playing at the end.
Yes, they are.
You keep winning.
Somehow it always works out that way.
You keep winning, you're going to keep playing, and your season's going to go longer, and the best team's going to be holding the plaque.
I mean, occasionally you have a Cinderella pop in, but there's usually a reason for that too.
Yes.
So
we're gonna move on to the Fab 50 from Top Drawer Soccer, and Conestoga leading the way for the state as it's been all season. They're moved back up into the top 3. You know, they're tremendous, but Pennsylvania is very well represented in this Fab 50 poll. Quite a few teams. What other teams have really stood out to you and have made their name or have really come into the Fab 50 poll?
Well, we have Parkland. Now, Parkland is now number 12 this week. They were 19th previous to that, and prior to that, they were 27th.
Right.
So they've jumped 15 spots, Parkland.
In 2 weeks. That's incredible. That's a big jump right there.
From District 11, Allentown area, just above Allentown.
Yes.
And, so that's a nice representation for Pennsylvania. Peters Township, which I don't know much about. I'm not sure where they're from, in McMurray, Pennsylvania. We're not sure which district that is. We'll have to look that up. They went from 21st to 14th.
McMurray's is District 6.
Is that District 6? Yep. Okay.
Peters Township is District 6.
District 6.
Right, okay.
So,
District 6.
not McMurray. We're still not sure where McMurray is. 7. McMurray is in
Township's
District
been around for a while. If
Yeah.
you look at they've lost some games in state finals. The teams that.
So you see that name pop
Yes,
up.
Peters Township. If you look at the bracket at the end of the year, they're usually on there in the tournament, whether it's a semi or a final. They have won some state titles, so they've had some decent college players come from that school. So they're not new to soccer and high school soccer at all. It's not a Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Again, and then our school around the corner from us that we played, Holy Ghost Prep.
Holy Ghost Prep, yeah.
Climbing and climbing.
Number 43 in the nation. Got some recognition there for Holy Ghost. And by the way, Conestoga is number 3 now.
Number 3.
So they were number 1, they went to 7, they went to 5, and then they've jumped back to number 3. I mean, this is a program that has 4 goals in all but 3 of their games. 4 goals or more, and we mentioned the disparity in goals for and goals against earlier. So
68 to 11.
Something like that.
Just a reminder.
It's pretty good.
But the number 1 team in the nation is right across the river.
That's right.
In the great state of New Jersey, St. Benedict's.
I have heard of St. Benedict's. Yes.
Quality athletics across the board. Very good basketball school.
Right. They always have the good boys basketball, right?
We are aware that they played Holy Ghost.
Really?
3-2 game.
Oh, I didn't know the game was over.
So Ghost played Benedict's 3-2. Ghost is up 2-1 late.
Really?
Benedict's gets a goal. And then their second PK in the last 10 minutes to beat them. Benedict's had 2 PKs called for them to beat Ghost in a 3-2 in a great game.
Wow.
So, again, don't count. That's very close.
Well,
these schools, the top 50 of them, you play each other. You're going to see some good soccer and a very good game and a 1-goal result between a 1 and a 47.
I mean, you played Holy Ghost. I was there.
Yeah.
And that game really could have gone either way.
You never know.
It could have gone either way. So you never know with these things. But, boy, to play the number 1 team to a 3-2.
Out there, too.
And with PK. So what do you know what the PKs were for? Or?
I do not know the official calling. From what I'm hearing, one was justified. The other one could have went either way.
Interesting.
But the coaches were fair. Kenny didn't have anything bad thing to say about their program or how they played. And he said we played them tough.
That's a great game for Holy Ghost. Yeah.
Well,
very good.
Before we go to commercial, when I was going through the rankings like a madman, just going through, I forgot to mention somebody, and this was somebody we were talking about. Your star player, Will Stackhouse. You said he's really taken on a leadership role after having some, maybe maturity. I don't want to say maturity issues, but just.
Will's been playing amazing the last couple of weeks. He's taken the team on his back along with some of the other seniors, Georgia Montauk. But again, Will gets the goal and the assist against Judge, which was a big monkey on our back and a big win for the program. And again, to see him play, we played Lansdale the other day. He was all over the field, getting the ball, spreading it around. He hits the crossbar in overtime late. He gets the goal.
He got the goal.
Georgie hits a rip from about 25 out, and Will's just crashing the box. Him and the goalie, 50-50 ball. Boom, Will heads it in the net.
Wow.
A great goal to get a start in that game.
How many opportunities do you think he had to score more goals?
Will probably had he created individual, and again, he's being marked 2-3 guys on the
they recognize him. Yeah, they know who he is.
And he's still able to create opportunities for other players and for himself. And again, that's what I've seen him develop this season as far as that leadership and being able to pass the ball and move off the ball and getting other kids involved. And just, that's changed so much throughout the season. There's good things for him to come. I think the playoffs and as we finish the season, we're going to be hopefully seeing more about him and seeing him on the end of the sheet with the other guys on the team. I think we're starting to really click.
He'll probably get some season awards, and he'll get a lot of college interest and so on. When I saw him play twice, and this is quite. He's omnipresent. Is that a good word for him? He's always there, and it's always. And the other team better pay attention to him, as we said.
Yes.
Because he is one strong kid, and he's not terribly big. But he's powerful. He's strong.
Yes, and he's handling it well right now.
And he has great ball skills, and obviously he can score.
That's what you like to hear.
Yeah.
We'll be right back here on In the Goal with the girls soccer from around the state of Pennsylvania. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Yes, you. You like pro sports?
Yeah,
You like college sports?
of course.
You like high school sports?
I guess.
Maybe you just don't know much about them.
Hey, voice in the sky.
Huh?
Where can I go to learn more about Philadelphia area high school athletics?
Just watch Varsity Voice every Wednesday on Facebook Live at 7 p.m.
Welcome back to In the Goal. I'm the host, Stephen Schreiber, joined by Jack, Kapp, Ryan, Haney. We've got a great second half for you breaking down girls soccer around the state of Pennsylvania. But first, I'd like to go back and admit a mistake I made in the first half. Peters Township is in District 7, not District 6. Right. Got that wrong. But now we're moving on to the girls. We're going to start very similar place we started with the boys, talking about PowerPoint rankings, but we're going to do it in District 1 here. Kapp.
Okay, let's take a look at that. The girls' playoff model for District 1.
We can just look at the power rankings if you want.
Yeah, sure. So they break it down by classification, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, single A, and right now on top it appears to be Penn Ridge, and I don't know why, but Penn Ridge is on top. Council Rock is number 2.
Yeah.
And number 3 is Pennsbury. These are the 4A schools I'm speaking of.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they do it a little different than the way we describe District 3, which is the complex statistical model.
Right.
This is done a little differently. They have their own formula for doing it. And so there's a whole bunch of teams in 4A because there are 24 District 1 qualifiers for the tournament, for the district tournament, and 5 for the Pennsylvania state tournament. So there's a lot of teams that we've been mentioning all along. District 1 loaded with great teams. In the 3A, Village O. Marie has retained their number 1 position. 3A girls, Pencrest is right after them. Pope John Paul, number 2. And Lower Moreland Villa Maria Academy as opposed to Villa Joe Marie. They're 2 different schools.
Yep.
Those are your top 5 right there. There's only 3 schools in the 2A.
Yep.
And it's St. Basil's, which is up in my neighborhood there, New Hope Solebury, and Springfield Montgo. out on Paper Mill Road there. And then the single A Calvary Christian Academy up on Bustleton Avenue there, followed by the Christian Academy, Doc Mennonite, Friends Select School, Faith Christian Academy at Philmont Christian. So those are all those are all the schools in District 1 that qualify as of now.
How many
About a
schools
week
from
to go.
each district qualify?
Well, it depends on the classification.
Right.
So, like we mentioned in 4A, you're going to see 24 teams qualify for the district tournament.
Okay.
And then 5 for the state tournament, which is the most in the state.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we said before. And then when you get down to the lower levels, it's much less. So you're looking at, well, for the 3A, there's 12 teams in the district tournament and 2 in the state tournament.
And there's 1-1.
Yeah, and then 1-1 after that. So it's it gets reduced there. But I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, I did a little analysis of how many teams come out of each district for the state. And again, we've been saying it all year, but most of the activities right around southeastern Pennsylvania. Some in District 7, some in District 3, of course, and then some in District 11, which is right above Philadelphia. But when you and District 1, but when you get into the top of the state, there's very, very little soccer being played that would qualify teams for a state playoff position.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's the way it works.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on to the PCL on the girls' side. And we have some great news on here for Archbishop Ryan.
Yeah.
The girls have clinched #1 seed in the PCL, 10-0-1.
10-0-1.
That's incredible. Great
them and
season.
Them and Lansdale have the same record.
Yes.
And again, I'm not positive that Lansdale won their game today.
Right.
But again, if they end 10-0-1, Ryan holds the tiebreaker with the goals against.
Okay.
So Ryan would get the
So
first
Ryan
seed.
gets first seed.
Okay. Lansdale Catholic, as far as we know right now, 9-0-1, could be 10-0-1, could be whatever, 9-1-1, 9-0-2. Lots of possibilities. Followed right behind by St. Hubert's 7-2-1, Archbishop Wood 7-3, Cardinal O'Hara 5-2-3. So the top, there's a lot of, the top 2 teams battling out all season. They tied each other. Great competition. And then there's competitions for the 3 and 4 seed with St. Hubert's and Wood. And then there's a little bit of a fall off with down to O'Hara and Conwell Egan sitting right behind Cardinal O'Hara.
It drops pretty quickly at that point.
So I mean, there's a lot of congestion in that middle area, and then you got to feel bad for Newman Goretti going 0-10.
It's just not their thing.
No.
But don't mess with them in basketball.
Oh, I won't. Trust me.
Yeah, soccer's not there. They're just not a soccer program right now.
And if you look at Ryan and Lansdale, it's 2 different types of teams. Ryan set up a more defensive situation. Again, they get the tiebreaker on goals against, where Lansdale is led by...
Oh, Kate Hennessy, right?
Yeah.
And she scored 5 more goals last week.
Yeah, so she's up to 105.
I think she's up to 105 for her career and 36 for this season.
That's incredible.
Do I have that right?
I think you're right. I think it was 31 for the season last year.
She had 5 this week, then she's got 36 for the season, which is rather extraordinary, I would think.
So we'll see if them two can meet in a championship. And, offense wins games, defense wins championships, or will it be...
Maybe,
we'll see.
I mean, have you ever had a player score 30 goals in a season?
Well, you saw us play a couple years ago. We did a show with Jules Blank.
Oh, yeah, Jules, that's right. I interviewed her.
Yes.
And she was,
Where did she go to school?
Jules is at Temple right now in her sophomore year. Jules broke the school record on SFBN Live for the District 12 title.
Really?
She called it before the game.
It's all coming back now. She's a great kid.
She said, I'm going to put 4 in the net in the first half, and she did it against Franklin.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is quite something to call. That is a bold statement.
Yeah, I forgot about her, but look how
She
2
was a
years
special
and you
talent.
forget about it. Yeah, she was a great player, and she was a very solid interview too.
Oh, great kid.
She was very intelligent and articulate. Yeah, for high school.
I still can't believe called putting 4 goals in the net in one game in the first half. Not even in one. I mean, doing that in a game is incredible enough, but in the first half, holy cow!
When I told Ari that I said what she said before the game. He was like, "No way!" And he was calling. He actually made he called the game, and he said she said she was going to do this, break the school record in the first half.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Impressive.
We are.
So I have had a kid like her.
Yeah. Right, Jules Blank. Sure, yeah. Lansdale Catholic 10-0-1 were being
so they
confirmed.
2 undefeated teams going into the district or the playoffs.
Catholic playoffs.
Catholic playoffs. Yeah. It's considered district, I guess. Yeah.
So hopefully at the end we'll see 2 undefeated teams battle it out for the top.
And that's the way it should be.
That is the way it should be. I mean, 2 great teams should be the ones playing for it.
Again, you never count out these other teams.
No, I mean St. Hubert's. Archbishop Wood, very good seasons. Cardinal O'Hara right behind them.
Yeah.
I mean, you have one player has a special day, and that's all it takes to knock off a talented team.
Ryan scores against Huberts, Wood, and O'Hara, all 1-0.
Yeah, I mean,
So you never know.
Yeah,
You can't get any closer than that.
no, you can't. You can't. That's incredible. So I mean, I'm sure all three of those teams are looking for a chance at Ryan to give him a little payback. Knock him out in the playoffs. But
It's such a tough sport to play where one goal makes the difference, and I mean you work your backside off the whole game, and it could be an own goal.
yeah,
It happened in a boys' game recently.
Yeah.
An own goal, where your own, it goes off your own player.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's the only score.
we saw that the U.S. men's national. The difference
say,
in the game was an own goal. I feel terrible
That's
for
right,
Omar
yeah.
Gonzalez. He's going to live with that the rest
Our
of
whole
his life.
country now
Yeah.
knows what an own goal is.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows. Yeah.
I feel terrible
Yeah.
for him. I mean, you can't imagine a worse feeling than that.
Did you ever have one as a player? Did you ever have one go off you?
I didn't find myself too many times in the back third.
Where were you?
I tend to stay up top, and
What was your position?
I played forward.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of
Yeah.
center mid, but mostly
Yeah.
forward my whole career. I didn't really like going back. It was like kryptonite for me to be inside the box playing defense.
I was a defender when I played years ago. Yeah, we used to call it fullback or halfback, but that terminology is not used anymore. But thank God it never happened to me.
Wow, it's a tough feeling.
It is a tough thing. We're going to move on to the Suburban one standing on the girls' side. Council Rock South in the National Division, leading the way, followed hotly by Pennsbury, and then there's a bit of a drop-off. CR North, 5-4, Neshaminy, 5-3, Abington, 3-7. So Pennsbury and CR South really in control of that division. CR South with 27 points, Pennsbury 24, right there, right in contention. But I mean, CR South and CR North just had a big game on the girls' side, right? Or was that the boys' side?
No, they
CR
both played.
South and
Yeah,
CR,
yes.
It was a boys' match and a girls' match within
Right.
the same week, and it's always it's a heavy
1-0.
rival. Yeah, it's 1-0, and that's the one where it's never pretty. It's a tough game.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
I mean, I would never
This
want to
is-
lose to a rival, especially one that's right close to you, north and south.
This is the one that had the own goal in it.
Really? Oh,
Speaking of an own goal,
Yeah, I knew there was a game somewhere that had that, and this is the game that had that. So it's unfortunate. That's the way it goes. And bounced off a North player. Sammy Jones launched a corner kick, and it just happens sometimes.
yeah. That's got to be terrible.
Yeah.
Feel bad for her.
Now there's some big upcoming games in the
And then-
Suburban One.
Yeah.
So we have playing tonight. I guess we have Castle Rock South and Pennsbury.
Yeah. I mean, that's a game that will
Yeah.
decide the fate of the national.
I guess it was
division.
played possibly this afternoon. I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Could be in action right now. Could have ended already. We don't quite.
could be in double overtime.
Could be in double overtime. Could be a great
And then
game.
you have PW and HH at Hatboro Horsham.
Yep.
And then tomorrow there's a game. This is a non-league game. This is Castle Rock South versus Village O. Marie.
Wow.
VJM, who, as we've mentioned a couple of times, well, they're right across the street from each other.
Yes, they are.
Up on, what road is that? I don't know, whatever that is. And they know each other very well, and they're also great programs.
Yeah.
I mean, Village O. Marie's been having great soccer for decades. Then you get down the road a bit, you have another non-league game. You have Hatboro Horsham against Mount St. Joseph, which is an academy team, I believe, right? Is that the Catholic Academy League? Pennsbury versus Pennington. There you go.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
My alma mater.
Pennington, yeah. That's a non-league game. And then Hatboro Horsham versus Upper Dublin. That's a league game on the 16th, 4 days from now. And the last good game is Quakertown and PW. That's on the 18th. So those are the games that I circled on my calendar.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get a quick rundown. You mentioned teams from both the Continental and the American divisions. We'll just,
Right.
So the Continental, it's congested up at the top. You got Central Buck South 6-2, Penridge, or 6-2-2.
Right.
Then Penridge 5-2-2. CB East is 4-3-3, and then Souderton's 5-4, and William Tennant is 5-4. So CB South has a bit of a lead on Penridge, a 3-point lead, and then there's three teams right there with 15 points, all competing for that 3 seed, and potentially for the 2 seed if Penridge stumbles a little bit.
It's always a possibility.
Always
yeah.
a possibility.
I mean, they're so close.
Yeah, a lot of great action in the
The Continental, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the American, not a lot of drama at the top. Upper Dublin, a team we've been talking about all season. 11-0 in division, 12-1-1 outside. So they're 1-1-1 outside of their division. So they have a 6-point lead on Quakertown, who is 9-3. Hatboro Horsham, 8-3, right behind Quakertown. And Plymouth Whitemarsh, right behind Hatboro Horsham, 7-4. So those three teams separated by 6 points. It'd be a little bit of a stretch for Plymouth Whitemarsh to get into second place, with the season winding down at this point. But
on my way in today, on social media, I saw Upper Dublin somebody posted they won the league.
It's official.
Yeah, it's official.
Yeah.
They took the title today with a win, so I'm assuming whoever they play today,
Yeah.
they got their 3 points or a 12-0. Nobody's catching them.
Nobody's catching them. No. That's a good program up there at Upper Dublin.
Great program in Upper Dublin.
And it's always been.
Do we know who's coaching Upper Dublin? Is there a new coach this year?
I don't know.
Off the top of my head, don't know.
Look it back.
It might be one of those new coaching positions. We went over 6 of them.
Yeah, we did.
Because Joe was telling us there's 6 coaching changes, so it might be one of them.
That's what I thought. It was a new coach. I'm like, that's pretty impressive for his first year to come in and go, win the league. Yeah. And then you look at Penridge. You said they're 5-2-2 behind a 6-2-2 team. So they have a game in hand. They could be tied with Central Buck South.
Yeah.
Give or take that.
That's right.
They have a game in hand to play. So that could be a difference
could potentially tie that up. Not sure how.
Just look at all this talent in these teams.
Yeah.
It's so much.
It's incredible right
District
now.
1.
Highly competitive. And it's surprising to see somebody come out undefeated like you see Upper Dublin, but they are. And Council Rock South also.
And you're looking at a team, CB West, at 3-7 in their league. I watched them play Ryan earlier in the season, and it was a close game, but CB West beat them 2-0, I think. And it would have been a struggle for Ryan to win that game.
Yeah.
And Ryan's sitting at the top of the league. Just to give you a little bit about how the competition is in District 1 and how much they're beating each other up.
Yeah.
These kids.
Well, we're going to move on to the Central Athletic League. Pencrest tied with Conestoga on the girls' side. Conestoga, boys and girls programs are doing great right now.
Probably the best of all boy-girl programs in the state. Yeah.
I mean, Pencrest and Conestoga 8-1, followed by Lower Merion, another strong boy-girl program, 6-3. Haverford High 5-3-1. Strathaven 5-4. So just I would say Pencrest and Conestoga are really the two teams battling it out for top position. Amazingly, Pencrest has only allowed 3 goals all season. We were talking about them last week as a team that hadn't let up any.
That's right.
Right? And so, unfortunately, now they have...
I think it's actually 2.
Is it 2?
Stephen, I think. I could be wrong about that, but I was at the game.
Yeah.
I was at the Conestoga game. It was a great atmosphere. It was Stoga White Night Out.
Yeah.
So everybody wore white, but hey, Pencrest brought their own fans. And, there was a lot of interesting comments coming out of the fans.
Oh, I can imagine.
I cannot repeat, but no, there was some of them were really nice. Red forever, white for never. That was... I thought that was kind of creative. And they kept chanting that over and over again. And it was a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a defensive battle.
And Stoga came out with the win.
Stoga came out with the win, 1-0, and it was a really nice shot right over the goalkeeper who has only let up Bryn McLaughlin. McLaughlin, how do you say that? I don't know. McLaughlin, okay. And she had only let up the 1 goal to Strathaven previously. So this was the 2nd goal all season. Yeah. And it was a shot, and she went backwards. And, she lifted up into the air. Yeah. She did everything she could to stop that goal and just missed her fingertips.
Right.
So, it was a great game. Katie Donovan scored the goal. And excellent goalkeeping on both sides. Maeve, I believe it's Maeve, M-A-E-V-E.
Maeve.
I'm going to say Maeve.
Yep.
I met her mom. Her mom was taking pictures with me. Very athletic, energetic girl, and shut them down.
Yeah.
So she did great. She's the pioneer goalkeeper for that game. Stifling defense, and it was an exciting atmosphere. It was great.
That's what Very nice. Yeah. It sounds like a great contest. And we're going to move on to the Mid-Penn Conference. And this has 2 really interesting teams in it, if I'm not mistaken. You wanted to talk about this, Kapp.
Right, the game is being played right now, I think. Another game that we don't have or ticker tape won, but we don't know who won. But it's East Pennsboro and Trinity. Trinity, we've mentioned a couple of times, is the 3-time defending state champions.
Right.
But they are behind in the standings to Pennsboro. Pennsboro was the other team that had been unscored upon until last week, and they let up 2 goals against Chambersburg.
Right.
So they finally got scored on, and tonight is the big game with Trinity.
Yeah. Trinity, according to this, could always have some accuracy issues. Is 11-5-1 this year so far. So
overall, you mean?
Overall,
yeah.
So
I had them a little different, but it's
yeah.
Whatever it is, it's
I'm
close.
just checking.
They're a little off this year, but they've been in 4 straight state championships and won 3 consecutive ones. Yeah. So if they can knock off East Pennsboro tonight, that should be interesting.
Could set them off.
East Penn is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, again, only 2 goals the entire season. That's the Mid-Penn Capital, Mid-Penn Conference Capital Division.
Right.
And great soccer being played out there by the girls, and we'll know next week who won that game.
Yeah, well, we will inform our viewers. And we're going to move on to a team that we talked about all year being so dominant, and then they take a loss, and they just fall off the map. Norwin.
Yeah. Across the state.
Yeah.
Norwin was the number 1 team in the nation.
Yep.
And they lost to Penn Trafford, I guess is how you say that. And then the rematch was just the other day, and it ended in a 0-0 tie.
Wow.
So not quite revenge.
No, I'm sure they were all looking for a big win there to get.
Yeah, I mean, it was an opportunity, but now these 2 teams are very close together. So they were knocked. In other words, Norwin was number 1 in the nation. When they lost that game, they got knocked out of the Fab 50.
Right.
Completely. They had not lost a regular season game in 3 years. 47 consecutive league victories for Norwin. Very impressive. Now, Penn Trafford does get the sectional title by virtue of their record. So it's their first since 2013. Again, this is District 7. It surrounds Pittsburgh. It's about 300 miles from here. And there's some good soccer being played out there.
Right.
And we're probably going to see one of those teams in the States moving forward, I would think. And they're both obviously going to be in their districts.
Right. So we're going to move on to the PSCA coaches poll. Leading the way on the girls' side, Cumberland Valley, followed by Moon, Parkland, Conestoga Valley, Central Rock South, Springford, Manheim Township, Norwin, Villa Joseph Marie, and then East Pennsboro. And not a whole lot, no movement whatsoever in the top 8. And then Villa Joseph Marie and East Pennsboro were both honorable mentions last week, and they have broken into the top 10.
Right. So Villa Joe Marie, we talked about them earlier. They're up in Bucks County here, Lower Bucks, right next to Council Rock South. They jumped up to number 9 in the state on this poll. This is the coaches poll. And you mentioned a couple weeks ago, it's the big schools, which are the 3A, 4A programs?
Yes.
Yep.
This is the 3 and 4As in this mix of big schools. And, South is playing Villa Joe, like we just said. So that'll break them up in that ranking.
That'll shuffle that a little bit, yep.
One team, Conestoga, currently an honorable mention. Wouldn't be shocked if CR South beats Villa Joseph Marie, if Conestoga gets back. I think they were in the top 10. And
they were 9.
They were 9 and have since fallen out.
That's right.
So I wouldn't be shocked to see them get back in there, especially after the big win over Pencrest.
That's right, yeah.
And you see Penn Trafford still getting votes.
Penn Trafford got the honorable mention, yeah.
We'll see if they can crack that with another tie with Norwin, see if things change.
I bet they do, yeah, because Norwin's number 8. Yeah, that's the big schools, and then
you flip it over.
we have some small schools, too.
Yeah, we do.
That's the single A and the double A, led by?
Camp Hill?
No, led by,
led by
Freedom.
Freedom. I was looking at the boys.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. You want to go over?
Sure, why not?
There we go. Okay, so we have Freedom up on top.
Then Northwestern Lehigh, Lake Lehman, Fairfield, Palisades, Greensburg Central Catholic, Hickory, Midwest, Midwest,
right.
Montoursville, and then Villa Maria.
Now, some of these schools we don't know.
Yeah, it's smaller schools, sometimes a little harder to follow than the big schools up in, but Trinity, an honorable mention.
Trinity gets honorable mention.
So,
yeah.
Interesting stuff. And we're going to move into the Fab 50 poll on the girls' side by Top Drawer Soccer. And the girls, I mean, boys are very well represented in the top 50. So are the girls. They're doing a great job, both boys and girls, representing the state of Pennsylvania. So,
yeah, we have a bunch of schools in here. I mean, looking at the girls, Parkland.
Yep.
Which we talked about Conestoga having great boys and girls programs. Well, Parkland's ranked in the top 50 in both boys and girls.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we have the Parkland boys at number 12. The Parkland girls are number 21. And they're undefeated. Coming out of Allentown, PA. I think it's just above Allentown, if I remember correctly. Moon, Pennsylvania, which is right next to Mars, Pennsylvania, interestingly enough. Moon is now number 33 in the nation on this poll. And CR South,
they're hanging there, Episcopal.
number 28. Episcopal, actually, let's see, Episcopal got knocked out, I think. And the Conestoga is in the mid-30s there.
Right.
So Cumberland Valley, also number 27. Cumberland Valley's out of Mechanicsburg, which is District 3. So Pennsylvania very well represented in the national poll.
Yes.
At least 5 or 6 teams, and it shows well for us. Yeah, very impressive. Yep.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on In the Goal.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Pennsylvania is a big state, and there's great high school football action happening each week to discuss.
Let's see. Got a man. Touchdown.
Join me, Richie Blyweiss, and my fellow analysts, Corey Sharp and Mike Palmer, on In the Trenches on the Sports Fan Base Network. In the Trenches, the only show dedicated to all 12 PIAA districts in Pennsylvania, coming to you every Monday live on Facebook. Tune in for information, stats, analysis, and some great previews and predictions. Be sure to submit questions and comments using hashtag #InTheTrenches or comment live during the show. So be sure to watch In the Trenches on the SFBN for all you need to know about high school football in the Keystone State. I'm Richie Blyweiss, reminding you, stay classy and be good to each other.
Welcome back here on In the Goal. We're just going to have our final thoughts and then we'll wrap up this episode. Kapp, what are some of your final thoughts? What are you looking forward to this week?
Well, I'd like to get out to a couple of games. I got to look at my schedule, of course, but I'd like to attend the big games. So I'm looking forward to them. And it's probably just a week or two left in the season, and for everybody. And it's rolling into the district playoffs.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to cover them very heavily and the states. So I'm looking forward to a couple of weeks of really high level, good high school soccer.
Yeah. Ryan, what about you?
I'm looking to see how the Catholic League playoffs line up. Again, for me personally and Archbishop Ryan, we're looking forward to a home playoff game if we can clinch that tomorrow.
That would be nice.
Hopefully next week I'm here saying we're playing St. Joe's on a Friday night at Ryan. Our school hasn't had a home playoff game in a few years now. It's been a while. So it was a goal of the team, so hopefully we have that to go with. And then I'm curious to see how everybody else falls, and we're talking about playoffs next week.
We should know by next week.
Yeah, should be an interesting end to the PCL.
Yeah.
A lot of things can happen on both the boys and the girls side, but we never know what will happen. That's why we have to play the game. Well,
That's right.
Thank you to all our viewers for tuning in. If you want to catch more of In the Gold, you can watch us on YouTube, or we have a podcast on iTunes. And not only can you catch us on iTunes, you can catch our 2 other shows on the SFBN does. Varsity Voice is Wednesday night, and In the Trenches is Monday night. 2 great shows, also both on Facebook Live and on YouTube. We appreciate all our viewers tuning in. Have a great night. For Jack, Kapp, Ryan, Haney, I'm Stephen Schreiber. Have a great night.
Do you see our blue steel?